A CBC News exclusive now. For the first time, we hear from the Canadian woman in the middle of a mysterious international case. Her name is Cynthia Vanier, and for the past 5 months, she's been in a Mexican jail accused of plotting to smuggle the son of Muammar Gaddafi out of Libya. Our Dave Seglins talked with Vanier in her cell in Mexico, and she has harsh words for the way she says Canada is treating her.
For days, CBC News pleaded with Mexican state officials here along the border with Belize to interview Cindy Vanier with a video camera. In the end, they would only allow a tape recorder to hear for the first time from the Canadian accused of lining up private planes and fake passports to smuggle Gaddafi's to Mexico.
Sounds like something out of a Tom Clancy book, but absolutely not.
This mystery involves not just Vanier, but a security guard she hired for a trip to Libya in July, and engineering firm SNC-Lavalin. Vanier says SNC paid her to report on conditions for its employees who had fled the war zone.
They invited me to participate in developing a work plan around bringing employees back into the country when the conflict was over.
She signed contracts and chartered airplanes, she says, to fly workers back into Libya, including a small one on standby for emergencies. And according to the Mexican authorities, the extraction plan involved maybe flying out Saadi Gaddafi.
Again, I don't know how that, I can't speak for what they believe it was.
Were you involved in any way, in any plan, trying to get high-level members of the regime out of the country?
No, absolutely not.
But prosecutors say their case hinges on fake passports and ID that they seized, some with Vanier's photo, some with Saadi Gaddafi's.
They showed me a photograph of this card that had my picture and a name that is not my name. Now, yeah, obviously I was set up.
Vanier says the case against her is thin, calling some of the evidence laughable, based on newspaper articles and statements by a former bodyguard, which she insists is filled with lies and half-truths. Gary Peters says that last spring he and Vanier explored whether they could help to move Saadi Gaddafi to Mexico. At first, he said, they shelved the idea in June, concluding it couldn't be done legally. But Peters also says he was in Libya in September and helped Gaddafi flee to Niger. Now, pressed by CBC's Adrian Arsenault, Peters admits he alone traveled to Mexico in August, scouting property or safe houses for Saadi Gaddafi.
Okay. You mean a safe haven? You're looking for a safe house? Yes, there is a place for him to go to. Is it his? No.
Cindy Vanier says Peters, who's now disappeared, has twisted the facts and that she'll eventually be vindicated.
I've lost a lot. My family has suffered. And I'll look forward to being greeted by them when I get home, and I'll rebuild.
Vanier says she's frustrated about what she claims has been a lack of support by Canadian consular officials here. She says she's stuck at the mercy of Mexico's justice system. She is appealing her charges, awaiting a trial, but she says she's being held, presumed guilty, forced to try to prove her innocence. Dave Seglin, CBC News, Chetumal, Mexico.
The two SNC-Lavalin executives Vanier says hired her for the work in Libya have since been forced to resign from the company. Both had ties to the Gaddafi regime. They left amid allegations of wrongdoing and questions about millions of dollars of mystery payments. The company says the work Vanier did for the pair was not authorized by SNC-Lavalin.